been fading for too long. Where's your passion? It's just about time to let it go. Open your eyes. Passion is something you I know. Just realize. Ooh, your love will keep us going strong. So I won't ever lose my passion.
So we're coming back.
I was alright down.
Where's now, right?
Acid, electronics,
Yes.
always wonderful.
I'm never gonna not play some stuff like this, just so y'all know.
It's always because it's funky, and who doesn't like funky? Well, music. Who doesn't like funky music?
I don't know, man, but I would really probably like I would judge that person. I know this is not a judgy space, but like I would just be like, man, like what's the issue? Because it just makes you feel good.
I mean,
like
some people, that's not they feel good music, man. Some people feel good music is
bam in a minute, bam in a minute, bam. I'm not gonna lie.
no. I mean
That's
that's
feel good
I'm
too,
about to say
though.
that's feel good too. That's
Yeah.
feel good too. I don't mind some of that, but what
Yes, feel good music that rage.
what is feel good music that is not feel good music for you? Like what type of music would you say like people vibe to and you just look at them and you judge silently in your mind?
I want to say I'm on record with this a lot. Like it's just a lot of the music now that's like uh I was kind of okay with like a Joe Budden rant. He talked about like I think he was going in on Brent just by himself.
Mhm.
But like this weird brand of R&B where everybody is just like I have to give credit even to the old school. Like it would be sadness, but then there'd be like a love song here. And even though I talk about how those set unrealistic standards, but all of this music is just like sad for the sake of sadness. And it's like that's real. And it's like, nah, that's kind of just living in pain for the sake of living in pain. And I don't like that. Like I've noticed that that's become a thing that makes it hard for me to listen to music like as consistently because I believe that like, you know, the vibes of the music or whatever, like do stuff to you, and then like listening to the
Mhm.
same verbiage repetitively over and over, I think fucks with you. So as much as I
Absolutely.
like a lot of these artists that are super talented, that are popping, like I have to spread out when I listen to these songs because you can't tell me that like women are trash and they're gonna always just do you dirty like the whole album. Like I can't listen to a full like Givion's last album. He sounds like he sounds, and I'm not gonna take away any. But I'm like, damn man, like there's a lot of like just weird toxic shit in here, like that I wouldn't do. I wouldn't really want to condone my homie doing. Like this is a lot. I don't want to listen to this all the time. I like how Brent shit sounds, but I can't listen to that all the time. And insert, who Summer. I think Summer Walker's super talented. I can't listen to that all the time, and so on and so forth. I
Right.
just the content just sucks.
Especially for like 24 and under mindsets because their brain is still developing. So,
Mm.
like, getting these things on a regular basis is definitely having some sort of effect on your psyche, whether you know it or not. I would say the last two generations of music have been really like sad and substance usey.
For sure.
And I just like, and we can look at how things are now and see how the last, say, 10 years of music have been. It's like, yeah, that kind of explains a lot
And
because
I
people have been taking in so much negative content in a number of different ways in abundance. Like it's definitely shaped some mindsets in unfortunate ways.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that that's I know like I think that's why one of the times like I know we've sang his high praises here about like Tank, and I like I'm a big fan of hearing people in whatever industry they're in like sound passionate about that. I think that's cool just to see, and it like inspires me to be passionate about the things I'm passionate about. But he's like, yeah, I'm gonna talk about like pain and like cheating, but he's like, I also want to make a song about love, my nigga. Like,
Right.
like there's a reason that these songs hit. Like Marvin Gaye made you want to, hey man, you might go say if you was like might be out with the fellas or whatever, you might hear some Marvin or you might hear some I don't know, man, Johnny Gill and them niggas, regardless of how I've critiqued them on like I stand by that, but you might hear some of that shit and midway at the club out with the homies, you're like, I'm gonna go home. And that shit felt good. The ride home felt good. You pulled up in your driveway. This motherfucker walking around in the big t-shirt, and you're like, I'm glad I cut my night short. There is nothing I'm gonna listen to now that's gonna get me out of the club, out the strip club. There is nothing playing right now that makes me go, I gotta go home and knock that down. It's a lot of stuff that makes you go, bitch probably at the house. Sucking dick on my pool table. Like, I don't want to hear this shit.
I
bro.
mean, they have some music out that'll make you want to go home to said lady person, but it may not be your lady person. It just may be a lady person.
All that. I say I take that back. It might not be like popular. There's a lot of, I'm not gonna take that. There's a lot of artists out there making really dope stuff. You just gotta go find them. There's gotta be
a lot of them are considered old now. Like Chris Brown is OG legend status now.
Is that his age or is that just his body of work?
Both. He's not considered like a new, even Drake is considered old man status now to a degree.
Drake is kind of responsible for the music.
Like,
too, but okay.
Like when you look at the way that music is shaped now, those guys aren't the front runners because, strictly because their music is great. They're front runners because they're like Jay-Z status. Like you wait for them, for these legends to put some music out and then you absorb that content.
That's a good point.
But you're not listening to them on a regular basis because there's a ton of new artists to listen to.
That's true.
Especially like say right now within the last maybe 2 years, especially hip hop. I would say hip hop has been toxic female dominated the last couple of years for sure.
Yeah.
They haven't all been huge artists, but there's been so many toxic female rap artists flooding the space.
That was one thing about like the Joe Budden thing when he was talking about like he was talking about how he was like judging music, and it's like these new ones you have to give them a year. Everybody gets a hot year, and then it's like post that hot year or so, now you start figuring out who's like who's gonna be the new Chris Browns, the new Hoves,
right,
such and such. Granted, I know like we judge hip hop a little whatever because hip hop is the youngest genre, but ideally like the people who are gonna like move the culture into like, oh hey, who's gonna give me in the next 20, 30 years, who's gonna give me a whole verse for 4 minutes and just talk about whatever. I'm not gonna lie, I thought that verse was fire. I do think some of y'all overhyped it. Like I didn't need like the
usual.
Yeah, I didn't need the young guru. Like you don't understand the bar. Like that sounded so like if you were somebody who's not a bars person and you needed something to justify your hatred of like hip hop heads, that was kind of that. I understood where he was going, but it just sounded like, damn, he really doing this.
I don't think I've ever had a craving to hear an artist that bad, but that's just me. But yeah, I would say
Out
you
the
do.
mud is double entendres.
You need all like.
All right, I got it.
MB was talking. I was like, man, I need a whole project. I'm hungry for a whole project. I ain't never been hungry for a whole. I've never been hungry for anybody's project. But I understand what he's saying. If you have somebody that you really have a large affinity for, and he's legend status, so I get it. But yeah,
I'm appreciative of whole projects, but I don't think I've been hungry for a whole project because I always look at Hove as like he'll give us when he gives us. I feel like you're making yourself insane trying to want a whole project. If that makes sense.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I've just never been there. Hove has never been in my top 5 ever. And people have looked at me nuts my entire life for saying that he's never been one of my top 5. But everybody's different.
Yeah, musically, I know Hove has been in and around my hip hop thing for years, but I don't know. Is Hove in your top 5? Like all time?
Like actual rappers?
This is however you want to classify.
That's okay. See, that's what I'm going. Because like bars wise, it's like okay, but like Hove as an
let me unbutton my jacket real quick. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, Hove as an entity is untouchable, but
you just have to make sure. Oh, just in case somebody got some hatred towards you.
Yeah, okay, because people do. This is tough.
I understand. I get the hate too. I understand.
I'm not an East Coast rapper fan.
Understandable.
I respect that.
So I'm always biased.
Okay.
In that, I don't think. For me, Hove has never been like a super dope rapper. I think he's been a dope influencer in the rap game.
Okay.
I think anything you do over time, Kodak Black is nice now. You know what I mean?
He's matured.
How much better is 21 Savage got?
Yeah.
You know,
Migos got way better. Like all these dudes progressed over time.
Listen, I suck at basketball, but I remember one summer I dedicated, and I'm gonna play every day. by the end of the summer, I was nice. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So anything you do over time, you're gonna become, good at it. It may be even great.
Right.
So I think due to that, Hove has gotten the position he has and established himself as one of the greatest of all time. But that's because also the influence of his mogulness
Yes.
That makes
has
sense.
made him that way.
Yes.
That's why he gets that. But if
Yes.
we just going on rap career alone, he has some fire albums. Once again,
Just
I
not
give him that.
my cup of tea.
But he does not go on my top 5.
No
this
argument.
is-
I share that entire sentiment wholeheartedly.
That's
we got,
all.
we got the flames. I know he was coming.
Oh, he's been waiting. He's been
Hove rode Biggie's
Here go
wave.
Kenny.
Yep. And leached on to the hottest acts and sold out everyone he did business with. If there's ever anybody I need to just pour gas, Kenny need an award. I don't know. I'm gonna get him a shirt or
I
something.
want to think like for until he reached legendary status now, prior to when he was just Jay-Z before he was Hov, anybody that he did a record with that was his peer, his verse was not the best on the song. But anybody he did a record with that was inside Rockefeller, he smashed everybody else.
Because East Coast rappers are not that good. I mean, I think that at one point they kind of obviously they started hip hop, no doubt, but I think they have the most. I think they have the least amount of versatility and
I think I can agree with that. I think
And
they're
music.
good in a vacuum. When it's like New York
Yeah.
stuff, it's like
Yeah.
these niggas are untouchable.
I've
Right.
always thought New York beats were trash.
right.
And
But
I
that's
like
why-
the music. I like it to be sonically pleasing. I like the music. I like the syncopation, I like the instruments
Mhm.
and all that. And New York beats have always been Fruity Loops. It's like the same 15-second loop over
Right.
and over and over. It's not the same as like a Manny Fresh beat or a Dre beat. You can see the transitions in the beat. That alone is going to kill it for me.
That's why I'm a fan of A Boogie, believe it or not, because he
Okay.
sounds like no other. Now East Coast rappers started to sound like him,
Right.
but he sound like he was calling himself the rapping Michael Jackson. I like
What's the
that
word they're doing
aspect,
now? The drill thing.
Yeah, the drill thing.
I
A Boogie has really not. He don't go down that drill path. He
Nah.
don't do it. So I like A Boogie because to me, same thing with Roddy Ricch. Roddy Ricch don't sound like he's from LA. You know what I mean? I thought he was from somewhere else.
Good point.
So that's the versatility that I don't like about East Coast rappers. It's not that I think that their lyrics are trash. I want to
not
clear
at
this
all.
up
Not at all.
Lyrically,
they will fight
yes,
to be lyricists
for sure.
For sure.
But music is not about lyrics, just lyrics anymore.
But see, that's one thing I think about like hip hop is that we don't always give hip hop, or I think the conversations are having now that hip hop needs a more expansive like way to describe it because it's like, is everybody hip hop? And I was like, yeah, but I really don't think that I should put, I don't know, man, the Migos, Hove, whoever else all in the same bucket.
Absolutely not.
Because I'm not putting Nickelback next to Slipknot. They
You
all get
shouldn't.
their own
Yeah.
thing. Like y'all do rock, y'all all get guitars, yes. But these niggas in these masks, and you telling me to look at this photograph, that's not the. I'm
It's
not.
not,
Yeah, we're not doing the same
it's
thing.
not the same.
Yeah, like
So
Kid Rock
it's-
and ICP, they're just not.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
and it's the same argument. I was sitting on Janine's show, R&B only, and the conversation was who falls in the R&B category now because it's been so blended now. So it's kind of a similar conversation. That's why
I think
music-
R&B needs something like that too. Like Tank shouldn't have to compete with. Because he's had this conversation on some of his shows. Tank shouldn't have to compete with. I don't know, man.
Drake.
Yes,
Tank
that shouldn't be a
have
thing.
to compete with
Right.
anybody. he shouldn't have to compete.
But
with anybody.
but here it is though. You're fighting. You have to compete. Is listenership. Period. You got people to
Yes.
listen to something,
yes,
regardless of what style of music. Whoever he compete on country music.
but I think that goes to your point of like music is more than just one component. Because if you
Mhm.
look at Tank handles everything himself for the most part, whereas a
Mhm.
Drake does not. Drake
Right.
is Beyonce of rap. Like
Period.
other people do all this stuff for me. I just perform it well.
And I think that's one thing also, like if we're talking like R&B, it's just different. And I'm not judging. Like if you can make a good song, I think sometimes if you can make it, that's like battle rappers and niggas who can like make good songs. Those are two different. But and there's also a difference between you make a good song, man. I can't knock that Drake makes a good song, but like Ari Lennox can sing down in her draws somewhere. Like it's not
Oh
the
my
same.
gosh.
So it's like how do
Ty
you
Dolla $ign. Where does he fall?
And then the Nate Dogg category.
You see what I'm saying? And like where does he fall in that? I mean, even Chris Brown he can step in and out. He just,
Mhm.
I mean,
just
depending
buy
on where he
musical,
steps,
you know what I'm
it's gonna
saying?
depend on
So,
where he lands.
right,
He
you
step in the
know.
rap category, he's not going to.
Yeah, now that's very true. But he can rap better than a lot of rappers. Come on. Once again, you do something, you're around it for long enough,
You figure
you're
it
gonna
out.
become good at
You
it.
figure it out. You get help, and then you get tutelage, and then
I mean, but you
master
sitting there
everything.
watching Drake, you sitting there watching the people, Lil
Yeah.
Wayne and all these people.
Yeah, if
you
all
know?
y'all snorting coke in the same room,
Come
of
on,
course
man.
you're
We
gonna
all
pick some
doing
shit
coke
up
in
at
here,
some
coming
point.
up with good rap lyrics.
Hey man, open up your mind.
Did
baby.
y'all go to your top 5 already?
No, I was gonna ask you who your top 5 East Coast is, since it's
East
difficult, because that's gonna be a
Ugh.
difficult choice to make.
Top 5 East Coast.
Yep. Who's your top 5 East Coast? That's
See,
gonna
now a
be-
lot of people gonna put Biggie in there, and I have a large argument for that.
Hey,
You know what I'm saying?
hey,
But
no judgment here, brother. No, I didn't.
Hey, now
I didn't like
sometimes
Biggie
you
until
gotta-
I got older. When I got older, I respected Biggie more. When I was younger,
yes,
I
yeah.
don't hear nothing from Biggie because it was Puck all the way. That was
Yeah.
just me. But
East Coast
I understand.
top 5 is hard.
it is
I know I'm throwing Ghostface and Meth in there.
okay, as you should.
Throwing meth in there, huh?
I like Meth, man.
That's funny.
Hey,
That's a good
Red and
one.
Meth are always gonna get respect from me. Ghostface is always gonna get respect from me.
For
so
sure, for sure.
I, have
I
nothing-
mean, me personally, I put LL Cool J up there.
Bus is up there.
You know what I'm
LL
saying?
Cool J is one of
That's
my
a good
favorite
one.
artists of all
I put LL
time.
Cool J because I think he was the most versatile,
Absolutely,
and I like versatility.
and he's reinvented himself many times
Yes.
without having to change much about himself.
I like
I've
versatility.
always liked
that
LL. Will
was
always
not
be
bad.
one of my favorites.
That was not bad. I'm telling. A
That's
Boogie
actually
for
not
me
bad at
really
all.
goes up there. A Boogie for me, just because I don't know how much I listen to him.
minimally. I haven't listened to him enough to say.
He's independent, so it's always gonna be
It's a
hard for
little
him to get that.
I remember when everybody was on the A Boogie
And
with the
Kiss.
hoodie. Who?
Kiss.
Jada Kiss.
Kiss.
Okay, yeah, Sleeper
So Kiss, Meth, Ghost, Busta.
50.
Buster. 50.
Ooh,
50?
do you get 50 in there? You fucking get 50 in there. You get 50 in there. You put.
I don't see
50
how
in
you
there.
couldn't. to
You
be
put
honest.
if you put
As far as influence is concerned, as far as mobile is concerned, and bars,
and this is what we do
he's
top
a
5.
good. He's a good storyteller,
and that's
always
why
has been.
Jay-Z goes in that top 5 because of East Coast.
See,
for
that's
sure.
what I'm stuck between Hove and 50.
No, they both make it. They both got to
Who's
make
getting
it.
kicked out of my 5 then.
If 50 makes it, Jay-Z has to make it because I think
I'd take Fab over Jay. That's just me.
I like Fab. I like Big Sean. Well, Big Sean's from D, so never
Well,
mind.
yeah.
So I don't know if that's East Coast.
We
or not.
Detroit's not East Coast.
Is that Midwest?
Midwest.
Okay, that's fine.
I guess.
That's cool. That's cool. That's
Eh,
fine. That's fine.
okay.
That's fine. What about Baltimore? Is that East Coast?
Baltimore.
That's definitely East Coast, right?
Baltimore
I thought
to
that
me
kinda
is
is-
definitely East Coast.
'Cause I like King Los. King Los has always been one of my
King Los was slept on.
yeah.
Does the DMV like just consider themselves their own like
They
distinctive thing?
all the East Coast places consider themselves their own. That's just
That's
part
okay.
of the East Coast
mean,
narrative.
yeah.
They all think they are their own entity.
You can think about how small it is. They got so many. How are all y'all from different places? I don't even think it's that many.
And
And
Places
then
in
like
New
the
York.
sounds is different because if I'm going like, because if I'm taking like that area, then I'm fucking like,
Chicago is different than Detroit, which is different.
Yeah.
than
For
DMV, which is
sure.
different than New York, which is different than Jersey,
Chicago is
which
Midwest.
is different than Buffalo. If you want to throw in
Benny.
Benny in there,
Yeah, top
Then you
top
gotta-
5
then you gotta
East.
throw
is tough.
Wale in there. That's dangerous.
Mm.
Does-
Mm.
and
Wale
does
should
Vir-
be in there.
But are we taking? Are
He's
we,
not making people's top 5.
Are we including
He should.
Virginia?
VA is considered
Who-
the
who-
South.
who- who's
Depending
out
on
of-
who
'cause
you
I'm about
talk
to
to,
say-
depending on what part of
Because see,
Virginia
that
you're
gets
from,
that's
it's
also
considered the
fucking
South.
confusing. Because if you're gonna throw like Push, like Missy, and then Tim, this
Mm.
whole thing is stupid. This
Mm.
is a whole stupid list now.
East Coast got the bangers. I mean, they got big people coming out, so I can't really it's tough. I'm just like I said, I'm not a big East Coast fan.
Kenneth.
Yo,
Kenneth.
What do you say?
okay,
It trashes the
okay.
country
Kenneth,
music.
I normally love you, but I'll fight you. I'll fight you.
See, and people don't give LL Cool J.
they don't. They
the
disrespect
respect he
because
deserves.
he switched over to acting. And they
Yeah.
forgot how they
The song
forgot.
title.
Forgot who he was.
They forgot
it's
who
okay.
LL was.
It's okay.
is a-
Disrespectful.
This is a good pool.
Big L. I feel like Big L always gets a nod, but
I don't know if I'm putting him. Like,
He's not that guy.
I respect Big L, and because he died when he
That's
died,
another
and
thing
he had
about
the
these
influence he had on the
conversations.
East Coast. But
Are
he
we
was
talking
never
just
the-
bars or like overall influence? Because that's another like
bars? He was cool, but everything else was like it was very East Coasty for me.
50 top 5 is true.
Yeah, 50 got to make top 5 because he impacted.
Hey man, relax. I'll
know.
fuck with Gibbs.
Freddie Gibbs is overrated.
What are we talking
Are we
about?
talking bars wise or just person? That's another thing with these hip hop conversations too. it gets.
Yeah, nobody's listening to Freddie Gibbs. Let's keep it real. Not like that.
I mean,
I listen to Gibbs.
we listen to Gibbs.
I listen
Not
to
like
Gibbs.
okay, not but
When he drops a project, I'll listen. Am I going to go back multiple times?
does he make your playlist?
Couple songs.
ESG,
Every
yeah,
project, like maybe I'll give
Not every
maybe 2 or
project,
3
though.
songs.
See, there's people who as soon as they drop the project, it makes my playlist.
Oh yeah,
You know what I
that
mean?
makes sense.
I'm going to listen and see which songs are going to make it. So
But see,
Gibbs
that-
may get two.
That's
or 3
another
per
thing. See,
project out of
Gibbs sometimes gets in these bags, especially since he started fucking with Alchemist, is where like I have to be in a barsy mood.
Yeah.
So that's what he's been. So I know that's a dangerous
Well-
bag of just like I'm doing.
Well, let's have a real
bars.
conversation then.
Let's
Like, let's
Or
go top
making
5 West
music.
Coast because I was having this argument about the game. Being a West Coast legend, and I was disagreeing with.
As corny as Jason is as a person, he's very much so talented. He may not know how to handle himself outside of the booth, but inside of the booth, he definitely is a talented individual.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no disputing that whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, so who do you got as your
DJ Quick will always be at the top of my list. West Coast.
okay? I'm not
Always.
mad at that.
Always.
Okay.
There's no disputing that. The rest of the list we could talk about.
Who, or DJ Quick? Who
I
else
would
you got?
say Snoop would be on the list.
I can't argue with Snoop.
Snoop would be on the list because he's like West Coast Jay-Z, but
You got two.
he's a little bit better.
He is. Yeah, I mean, he's just. But I see what you're saying. Go ahead.
Right.
Yeah.
If we're talking,
Just West.
I
Just.
don't know. I want to throw Kendrick in there.
Okay. I'm not gonna argue that.
Hmm.
I'm waiting for like one name now. I'm. Go ahead. Continue.
I don't know.
Because you got Nip. I don't know if Nip makes yours.
Nipple make mine.
Nip, man.
I understand why he could be,
He
you
could.
know, like a
Top
6.
10?
But yeah,
Sure.
okay,
Top 5?
I
don't
understand.
know.
Okay, we
I
got
don't
3.
know.
Does Cube make it?
I would say yes.
Okay.
I would say
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say yes. I don't know how I
might have
forgot
to
about Cube.
readjust
My
this.
And
bad.
what about
5.
Pac?
He's
that was
East
complete
Coast.
Is he?
Born wise.
But his music represents.
That's the tricky part. I actually had this conversation
Okay,
with
yeah,
Eric before
yeah.
a few months ago. Shout out to the Get Right. It's
Right.
like, yeah, technically he's East Coast born. Now, granted, he's a Oakland baby, so
Right.
we couldn't claim him. He's definitely been baby's for a long time, but technically,
He claims to represent the West.
towards the
I'm
end of
going
his
to
Are
life.
we going? Wait, are we going west as in top and bottom too, or just LA?
Nah, I was just
Well,
going,
I was kind of
west.
going LA. Everybody we
Okay.
mentioned
Oh,
was from LA.
Fuck. I was
I'm
like,
not mentioning
man.
no Vegas niggas. I mean, I hope
yeah,
we're not
no.
going there.
Oh no,
No.
I thought you were saying. I
Oh, I
thought you were
thought
saying.
you want to talk about Seattle? We gonna throw Macklemore in there
I'm
too?
not going there.
Absolutely not. I just
No.
thought he said top, and I was like, I gotta knock this whole list out because I'm putting 40 water on there.
As you should.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
As you
That's
should.
fair. Don't think he deserves it though.
I would say he's.
Man,
I would say 6, maybe not top 5.
I don't think
but
he
I'll
makes
say
top
6.
10.
Ooh,
I'm putting
hey,
40 in my top
Ooh.
10.
I don't think he makes top 10.
hey,
I
hey,
think he had a
brother.
run when I think he put the Bay on.
Mhm.
You know, I think he put the Bay on bigger than anybody ever has.
Mhm.
But you got to understand, his first like international song was "Yep." Nope, that was the first time, and this
That's
is
the first
late
time
in
he
his career.
reached. No, I won't say he reached globally. The hyphy movement reached globally.
No, but that wasn't 40. That was the Bay Area. That wasn't just
But
40.
he
It was the
spearheaded-
Federation.
no,
He
that-
spearheaded that.
No,
though.
see, that's what I'm
My
saying.
Ghetto
He-
Report Card is
Yeah,
global.
No, but see,
That shit's
that,
wild.
once again, you know what I'm saying? He had an album that put the Bay on. Like I said, I agree.
I mean, the Bay has
He bet
on. Even he's been because he collaborated with everybody all across the country, which helped him put the Bay on more. He worked
Now, see, my
with
question-
No Limit and Cash Money and all this stuff at their height. They put him on songs. He was already collabing with them. That would make him legendary because for his style, and people would not expect his style to be something that's mainstream. For him to reach all across the country independently with that style and from the Bay and be accepted.
Does that play a part in the top 10? So the top, because the Bay's culture is as long as you eat in your backyard, you've won. So all this other shit is almost like
I would say it does because a lot of these new rappers are biting Bay styles and nobody is mentioning that. A lot of these new rapper styles in the last couple generations, they're definitely biting Bay Area rap styles. It's just that the Bay isn't getting enough notoriety for them to be able to claim that. But 40 will tell you.
Sprinkle
KB.
Me, man, wasn't-
Yeah.
But you know, see, look, the culture of the
There
Bay,
he
I
goes.
think was huge. But I also think because people from outside of California, now remember we're in California, so for us they had a greater impact than it did on people fucking
I
mid
don't know,
Texas.
'cause
You
when
know
I
what I'm
went to
saying?
school in Ohio, people was definitely, they may not understand it, but they definitely was listening to some 40 and they like,
Well, he has some, I mean, he has some big songs. Like,
absolutely.
don't get me wrong.
He's had big songs for
But-
sure, and different generations.
I don't know if he makes top 10 though.
I would say he makes
In the
top 10.
West.
Not top 5. No, I love 40, but he ain't gonna make top 5. But will he make top 10? Absolutely, hands down. I wouldn't even. I wouldn't
Okay.
do my uncle
Yeah,
like
40's going on the top 10.
I respect
for
40.
me. For me.
I
can't talk
Let me
about
be
your list.
clear, right?
I understand your list may be a little different, but for me,
Okay, all right. That's. I mean, that's.
who would yours be? Because you getting ours, but
I haven't got Mr. Harrison, so
And 40's not 10 on my top 10 either. 40's like I could give 46 or
I
something.
was saying he gets 6.
Yeah.
He may not make top 5, but he'll get 6.
Mm-hmm. Snoop's
Okay.
on there, Quick's on there. I'm putting Cube on there.
Quick Cube.
You
You got 2 spots left for the top 5.
I'm gonna put Kendrick on there.
Kendrick,
And J Rock.
stop! Don't you dare!
I like J Rock, but no, he's not top 5.
There was
He's
a
not
time
top
I
5.
really wanted to. It just these artsy niggas are like, let me give you 10 years
Come
between
on.
my projects. Like,
Right now,
no. Hammer.
you got 1 left.
I'm going Hammer.
I mean, you haven't said Nip because you said earlier Nip would be in there. So I don't know if that completes your 5, but
You got 25 seconds.
that might complete my 5 because that's something that I still play like consistently. To this
Sure.
day. I'm gonna always play like various levels from like this last album to shit. What got me shit? Keys to the City walked me across the stage when I was in school. So
Okay.
he'll just be in my 5 because like I legit listen to Nip on a weekly basis at least.
5 seconds, sir.
Oh, commercials.
You got to say your word.
Commercial.
There you go. You
Commercial.
Got to say it right.
He'll just be in my 5 because like I legit listen to Nip on a weekly basis at least.
5 seconds.
because you know,
Oh, commercial.
I go
say
through
your
phases too, like favorite
Commercial.
rappers.
Yes.
Like
Because you get reintroduced.
Hey, Jackie, what's wrong?
I'm over here running around trying to tell everybody about the podcast pit.
What's the podcast pit?
I'm glad you asked. The podcast pit is an event where you will find some of your favorite podcasts performing in front of a live audience.
Will there be food and drinks there?
Of course there will be. It's at Joxer Dailies in Culver City. They have a full bar and a full menu.
Hey, I may need to tell people about this as well.
Yes, come with me. Let's tell them. The podcast pit is coming. The podcast
pit is coming.
What's up, friends? It's IE and Friends. We're here at the Podcast Pit LA. It was so fun. We came to rep the IE. I think we did a pretty good job. So shout out to the Podcast Pit for having us. Shout out to TGN. You guys should definitely check them out. You should check me out, Saul V. Gomez.
Y'all can find me at I Know Caesar on IG. You can find me at airbear_IE on IG.
And you guys can find the podcast at IE and Friends on every social media network, except for OnlyFans. That's coming soon. So stay tuned. So follow us and follow TGN Podcast Pit. Have a good day, guys.
Birthdays are meant for celebration, and when it comes to celebrating, Flour and Sugar never misses a beat. Offering custom cake designs to fit any special occasion, your cake will be the talk around town. From sushi cakes to perfume bottles, everything is always edible with flavors like Oreo, banana pudding, and our top flavor, strawberry shortcake. I can't miss. Order your special cake today by email at flourandsugarla@gmail.com or visit our website at flourandsugar.store. Or if you want to see new designs, follow us on Instagram at _flour_and_sugar_.
Hey there, business owners. Don't miss our limited time offer. Advertise on the Good News Radio as low as $2 per commercial slot. That's right. Promote your business up to 4 times a day, every day for a month on live radio. If you're interested, email us at contact@tgnradio.net. Once again, that's contact@tgnradio.net.
Hey, beautiful people. It is the baddest bitch on the block, Eric Devante.
And it's me, Kelvin Unique, and we are the Get Right Radio Show.
Here on TGN Talk. Are you going to church on Sunday?
Hell no, I'll be right here live at 10. We got all the celebrity entertainment news with my favorite segment.
Bitch, you better read.
And you know, of course, I'm going to get you right and get you out that door spiritually with some Uniquely Speaking.
Oh, I need it. The kids need it. And this is why y'all need to tune into us every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. here only on TGN Talk.
Hey, my name is Jasmine Sweets, and I'm so excited to be bringing you The Sweet Spot on TGN Vibes, Good Vibes, and R&B. Playing the old school, new school, and in between. I'm coming to you this summer. Stay tuned.
Is it time for a career change? Are you looking for that role that pours back into your city? Bright Star Schools is an organization that is dedicated to supporting their educators to grow their careers, serving students and families all around the Los Angeles area. Apply now. Bright Star Schools is offering sign-on bonuses. Bright Star Schools is your
I just people don't understand what that. I just want. Let me get this thing off here. I just don't think people understand what that moment in life was, and
for
to be in LA and be ratchet.
No, during the. And remember, Tiger. Let's keep it real. Like Tiger
that's
had
when he was getting when Rack City was.
Oh my! I'm
that
about,
little. I wasn't into that jerk shit.
it started
I wasn't into
everything.
you tight pants niggas, but that Molly world. If you were not out here in that like 2011. 2012
and that was all that was like that. I was that Wiz. I'm telling you, man.
I had to do it remotely.
Oh my
God,
God,
what a time!
Oh, that was I had when I tell you, I can't even explain. Like y'all think
the parties was going crazy.
Y'all think I'm a decent person. I had just graduated. I didn't know. Oh my God, you niggas just don't.
I was about to say I had to do it all the way from Ohio, so I was trying to make shit work.
I stupidly came home right on time.
Yeah, I went to Cal State Ratchet during that time.
As you should.
And so I enjoyed that time. Like honestly, I say this all the time. Like I think I went to the best school in the world for fun.
It's like a California HBCU.
It really is.
That's how I looked at it growing up.
It really is. Cal State Northridge was like
California HBCU.
It really was. I had such a good time, and during that time,
I made many trips to Dominguez.
Yeah, I spent some time in Dominguez as well.
Oh, didn't go there at all.
But that was doing that time of being ratchet was amazing.
It's still going on.
Yeah, that was like shout out to Tiger because he kind of really started.
I'm just saying.
I mean, Tiger transitioned to OnlyFans. So.
That was the time.
Yeah.
I don't even know where
he gave up on music.
Right, he just reminiscing. Like, what
I don't
time.
even know where this episode's supposed to go no more because y'all just don't. I can't even. Oh, we had a time last night, boy.
That was
from like Thursday. It was literally Thursday to Sunday. I don't know what the hell was going on. From Thursday to Sunday, it was just whatever happens.
Oh, I mean, your Tuesdays wasn't cracking.
I was trying to be in.
No, I understand. It was a definite time. Tiger had it on lock. I think that's when he was still signing Young Money.
Quick second.
Yeah. No, he
can come out. He's like OT
way.
Genesis to me. Like he can come out and drop one project that's gonna blow.
But he's bigger.
Oh, absolutely.
He's
absolutely.
He's bigger.
Absolutely. I don't want to
disrespect. But shout out to OT. Compton AV, another one that I think, don't get. I think he's really good.
I haven't heard that name in a while.
And he just dropped a project. He's constantly dropping music, but
I don't doubt it.
Yeah,
Joe Moses.
Joe Moses, another one. You know what I mean?
Had a run. He's still dropping projets quietly.
Yeah.
Sometimes that to me is like more of an indicator of success of just like, I'm just throwing you guys have no idea how good my life is. Like, like music is not the thing that like, which means I feel like, oh, you've taken this money and done some other stuff. I'm proud of you. I don't know what you're doing, but I'm proud of you.
I would want to know the politics behind it because I know that plays a large role in that. Because even as I'm thinking about it, Joe Moses was YG before YG was YG. Ratchet ass blood nigga. But he could actually rap way better than YG. But for some reason, YG took off and everybody forgot about Joe Moses.
YG had better business people in his circle.
Politics.
Yeah, he had better business people in his circle, which allowed him to evolve from the Pushing Ink, what I mean, to from that whole thing, that they was pushing him. Mustard was a huge part in that because he blew up. So I think he had better business partners.
So do people in our top 10s and top 5s, do they make it if it wasn't for politics?
I think a lot of people didn't make it because of politics. So yeah, I have to say so because
Lotus makes a good point. Y'all need a because there are so many details.
Right.
I mean, that's part of it. We've said that on the show. Like when it comes to thinking of tops, there's so many different ways you can have these lists.
Yeah.
But it's hard to create a rubric for that. Just like I shared with you the top 50 worst rappers of all time.
I just think Lil B was a really bad rapper until I heard him rap for real one time, and I said, I think he sucks on purpose.
He's smart.
Yeah,
he's not a dummy.
No, he's not at all. he did it. I mean,
That's one thing that I can appreciate. Shout out to the Bay. The Bay will play dumb all day and make money off of it,
Yeah.
and they are brilliant.
literally and metaphorically.
All of it.
Yeah. Going dumb is part of their
Absolutely,
culture.
it's
Yeah.
part of the culture. I'll
Wow.
play stupid all day, and I know how to do it brilliantly, and I will make.
They
money
even
off it.
dance like they're literally retarded.
Yes,
Like it was
You done
just-
lost your mind.
So many cars got destroyed in high school.
Yeah.
they still get destroyed.
Yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
tried. Yeah, we definitely ghost ride the
Cars
whip,
and
stupid.
femurs and ankles.
Yeah.
Hip
And
bones.
everybody's collars to shirts was completely damaged because they was constantly pulling on it. Don't forget how bad you had to get a pro club.
I
You know,
remember this.
Is it Pro Club or Pro 5? Because
Yeah, yeah,
depending on
exactly.
which era you're talking about.
yeah.
Yeah, Pro Club, Pro 5.
That's the only shirt that I made through the hyphen move.
I remember this girl that got linked into the nether realm, jumping into like a hyphy circle full of just all the teams. Felt so bad for her. I don't know where she went. She like jumped in, and it was like the football team, basketball team, and like just all the biggest niggas that you could have. And she was like, I'm in. And
Yeah.
one somebody wasn't paying attention, that shit said, and she just disappeared.
It was the black mosh pit,
Absolutely.
which was
Absolutely.
another. Once again, just a wonderful time.
It was.
And
It was, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like fun.
it came off of the heels of Pretty Ricky. Don't forget that era, like,
Mm,
which made us all strippers at
Yeah.
one point, right? So
Yeah.
like,
slow grinding in parties
That was
with
a lot.
jeans and 2 pairs of basketball shorts.
oh,
under.
oh my god,
I was always too fat for that.
oh my god.
I could never pull it off, but
I was
I know
off.
that's what everybody else was doing.
I got
Funny as
saw it,
hell.
but I never understood. Like my balls.
It
always
was
sway
too-
in general.
Sir,
That is
Yeah.
funny.
I
How
am
did we wear
too-
basketball shorts?
I
under
don't
our
know
I
shorts?
why.
didn't.
What
I
was
don't-
that?
I
don't
was
know
250. I
why.
was not pulling that off in high school. I couldn't do
Yeah.
it. It was
I
too
don't know why small
moist.
individuals doing that, but
You
I
know,
could never get that off.
Moist.
I did it because I figured everybody was doing it, and I figured like I didn't have to like change for PE. Like I always felt like
That shit
at
always-
one point,
my
I
you
had
know,
practice, so I was putting
stank.
on a helmet anyway. So
right, and I
don't
really only did it as like a freshman. After that, you kind of you gotta take PE regardless. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't know. It's like why did we do that? Or it was to play basketball at lunch. I felt like we
I
was gonna
get
play
that part,
basketball at lunch.
and you just slide them back on so you get the. I get why
Yeah.
people did it, but swamp nuts. I don't know. I can't.
Kids are really dumb. because
Absolutely.
When they think about how much of just from 8 a.m. to 5 or from 8 to whatever, like post practice, swamp nuts, and then like girls is just going for it. Like all
Why
this,
did we wear
everybody's more.
basketball
It's oh my god.
You
yo.
had boxers
Because
you
it-
got the pro club boxers, then you
Right.
had a pro club basketball.
and niggas
shorts.
was sagging both of them, so they was
Absolute-
triple sagging.
yeah. no.
Like maybe
No.
that's what, like the basketball short thing. I don't really get that now. I think about it, it's way so uncomfortable.
It is-
But we had them big ass
Mm-mm.
pants, and maybe that's what it was.
I never went super big with the pants either.
I
never-
was
You was that
influenced
guy?
by the culture.
You
I
was
was
that guy?
influenced by the culture.
Okay.
Not gonna lie. Shout out to Inglewood High School. I was influenced by the culture.
It was a little bit
A lot of
after
big
us, but did
clothes.
you have like the glasses with the white out stuff on them?
That was much.
No, but I did have the belt buckles
Okay.
with the right
With the words,
with
or did you get the LED
Oh
lights?
yeah, you goddamn right.
Absolutely.
I was
I was
also
too broke to get it, so I can't be mad because I would have if
Yeah.
I could.
Inglewood Swap Me had it cracking.
I
You know
just
what I'm
should
saying?
have. I used to be in Inglewood every day, get my earrings.
Yeah, you know what I'm
Like
saying?
every other week, I'd be in there in the swap
Wow.
meet downstairs, get my earrings.
What a time.
Wonderful.
Yeah, when they
time.
came out with the LED joints, it was like
It's like, oh, you broke.
Them big tile diamond joints.
You can
Yeah.
have your phone was gonna light up, the case and the antenna
Oh,
and
yeah.
your belt.
then I had two phones
Oh,
on my hip with two big ass
was one
phone
of a
cases.
three-way?
No, I had the sidekick and I had the chirp.
Okay, that was the norm. That was the standard.
One to text and one to talk.
A Nextel chirp, or was it?
I actually had an Excel.
Did you
Proud
have
of
a race
myself.
car one?
No, I didn't. No, I actually liked it playing, but I had my sidekick was prepaid though.
Not mad at that.
you only get on T-Mobile. That was it.
Hey, I was with Verizon. I could never participate.
What a
Is
time.
that AIM?
Yeah.
Shout out to AIM. Started the digital hoe phase
Mhm.
for a song.
I was just about to
I
say
can't
like
even.
fuzzy butt pics.
yeah, that was
I'll never respect these kids. Y'all don't know what it's like having to wait for it to load up.
We were coders and we didn't even know that we
No,
were doing
on
coding
MySpace,
at the
yeah.
time.
yeah.
Like we did so much stuff that progressed technology and we didn't
Yeah.
understand the magnitude of what we were doing. If we just stuck with it, we could have $100,000 job.
Well, that's because we did it for the
We did it for pleasure,
for the women.
for fun,
Yeah.
and for entertainment.
We
and
did it for the BITCHs. You know what I mean?
Sidekick was my favorite phone ever.
They should bring the sidekick back.
We did it for the. That was I like that you spelled.
Yeah,
that.
because
you
it don't
spelled it out.
it don't have the same impact when you spell it.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah,
We did it for the nanny,
yeah. You know, that's why guys
Also,
did
for
it.
the nookie.
All for you to
I don't
end
know
up-
why women
for you
did
to end
it,
up like Gary
but
Owen? did it all for them? For you to
Yeah,
end
you did
up-
all that.
for you to end
Yep.
up
For you to end up like Gary Owen.
pretty
rich
much.
and,
And
fucking
miserable.
Yeah,
Rich,
yeah, that's
miserable,
him.
and cheating just to get out.
Well, kids won't even talk to me. It's crazy, but yeah, I mean, what a time, man. And is there a particular time that you miss that you wish we could get back from that era? Just give me one. Like, was it like was it music or was it the technology or
I liked, which is actually what I realized what I enjoyed in school because it gave me like an extra couple years of it, is going to a party and everybody's there to act. We're like the last group that went to parties to party. Like I'm cool if I leave here and like something happened, but I know I'm coming here and there's gonna be some cheek stone on me. I'm
Okay.
gonna laugh and we're
Yeah.
gonna get drunk. That's what took me out of like any of the because I'm like, hey, I came here. I don't want to go home with none of y'all. Nobody in here talking. We paid money to get in here, stand around. I'm
Yeah.
broke, bro.
yeah,
Like,
it
You
wasn't
say
a lot
like
of wallflowers.
06,
I would give you
07?
that.
yeah, like so
Yeah.
that was what I was
Oh,
like.
06,
I
07 was
knew-
like the last when Soldier Boy was like popping.
Yeah.
That was like the last
Mhm.
era of dancing in the party. It's fun. I used to
That's true.
college working with high school kids. Their parties used to be
yeah.
funky because
Yeah.
they would be in there really sweating again. Like,
That's
God,
because
it
we
smell
didn't
like
have
puppy in here.
Instagram, and you had to get on a computer to get on Facebook.
Right.
So it was no mobile.
I remember
Facebook app.
people recording music videos on VHSs to study the dances they would see
Oh yeah,
in the
true.
songs.
yeah. Oh yeah. It was what a time.
Now
So
we
I
don't
like that.
have
I would
music
agree.
videos.
The parties were definitely better for sure. DC.
I was a hermit for all of it. So I don't know, man. I want to see the time he's talking about is similar, but that was college for me.
Okay.
So high school for him, college for me. And I appreciated that. And if I could go back and do it again a little bit differently, then I mean, I appreciate today's time for sure, but that's just because I've taken control of it as an adult.
Mhm.
But as far as the culture is concerned, the things that were going on, minus the fashion, I probably might agree with that. I might
Okay.
agree with that. Either that or like late 80s, early 90s. I didn't get to enjoy the like Freaknik era. I wish I
What a
was old
time.
enough to enjoy Freaknik.
Yeah.
era. I literally waited until I was old enough and they got rid of it before I was old enough and I was mad. I
No,
was
they
like,
got rid of Spring Bling for us too. That was all trash.
They did.
Yeah.
They started on all that.
I like when the internet was on the internet and not your phone.
Okay.
So
Because
far.
You had to go
because
find it. Yeah.
we don't need it as much as we do all day. Like we
Mhm.
honestly don't need it.
Absolutely
The
not.
internet. Like we need to be able to text and call. You know what I mean? There's some business actually happening, but we don't need the internet. So that's the only thing I would like. I really like that time because we had to like interact, you know. And I said that's what made Aristotle and them so smart because all they could do was nothing. It wasn't nothing in the entertainment. It was just all you do is
You
talk
make-
all day.
You make a good point as somebody who like consistently uses the internet. It does make it just like I don't know. I'm not trying to. That's always a weird statement that everybody has an opinion.
Mhm.
Because granted, y'all should be able to say what you want to say, but it's like it's a lot of just like "Wah!" Like you just
Right.
That's what it sounds like, and it's like having these conversations. You should be able to like I'm thinking of it, I'm developing a thought, and then like okay, here's my rationale, as opposed to like it's weird to see people like comment on clips of things, and I was like, this is like an hour long,
Right.
and they gave you 30
Two.
seconds.
Right.
Two.
Right. Yeah.
What are we doing?
And they're going to do that multiple times a day. Like there's people that are going to have long debates under posts, like
I've
3 or 4 different
personally
posts a
chopped the
day or a
thing.
week.
I've personally chopped the video and been like, this is dangerous power
Yeah.
here
Mhm.
because this was a 3-hour interview. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm still trying to be an idiot to be integral. Like, I'm still chopping the piece that gets the thing. But if I want to be evil for like a week where I just chop things to say what I want them to say,
As you should.
because I'm like, yo, what the fuck?
Well, that's just like the whole Joe Rogan thing, when
Mhm.
he was, dropping the N-bomb apparently, and the way it was chopped up was like he'd be saying it all the time. But when you go back and re-listen to it or watch, the episode,
Mhm.
then you get the context of it, which gives you, more to kind of understand. So, anyways, I gotta go be a father.
Oh,
So
do
I will
that.
be back. I'll probably see y'all for y'all leave.
Because black men do that.
Yes, we do.
Contrary to common belief, black men do that and they do it abundantly. They do this fathering thing. But Godspeed, sir. Pleasure having you. Thanks for dropping in. Popping down the collar a little bit for this.
You got
Enjoy.
You got to weed through the nonsense to get to the real. You have to.
I can take that.
I'm about to. Man.
Hey, And that's the show, folks. We'll see you later.
Pretty much.
Talk
All right,
to
let's.
we make
Where's
rules.
where's this thing at? All right, man. We are gonna. That was it.
That was
the
it.
bar. All right. Later.
Somebody's like,
what the fuck? No,
what
but
happened?
I don't know. I think that's the thing. Also having the ability to understand what real looks like. Because even what Keith just said, what Keith just put out. I remember we talked about that thing with Joe Rogan. Is like a case study on understanding context. Now, granted, I'm not a fan of Joe Rogan, any non-black person saying the N-word, but I don't agree, and I know I've become more sensitive to it since I've been doing this. About, look, man, we could crucify somebody for what they say, but we can crucify them for what they said, not what we think they said.
Right.
You know, well, I take that back. Crucify them for what they said. I'll say that. You know, once you get through the implications and context, then we can really just, you know, take this motherfucker out to pasture, but don't make it up.
I mean, if we get through context, it has to be included first. I don't even think we really include context.
No,
we take what we see as for face value without even thinking that context exists.
Of course not. Like, I'm gonna use the whole thing that set off what I'm cool with the rants though, but what set off like what the episode's supposed to be about. Like,
I mean, you mentioned it.
Yeah, if you read the title, "Misery is the whatever we put up here, misery something, being miserable." That's the point. And I saw like people post on a lot of these pages. It was last week, I think, that Gary Owen talked about his divorce and blah 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 blah. And all the context was super like, you can do everything you want for a man. Like, I saw a lot of those. Saw other things, but I saw a lot of that. And I like that, you know, maybe he got like, you know, white privilege to just say what he wants to say. But he was just like, why is there always the assumption that like I'm the bad guy because we're divorced? I filed for divorce. I was miserable. And I was like, you know, that's a good point. Because I don't know, any romantic movie you watch, she is fed up, she is tired, she is doing. I was like, hey, that tired thing is a thing. And I always see y'all post, I got them now. I saved them because I'm trying to understand what I'm doing.
He's been loading the clip all week.
Listen, it's like, you know, them. You can't depend on no man. Me, nah. You can depend on yours. Mine breaks his back daily, even on days he can't stand me. Miserable. So there's those. There's the little joke that I posted earlier today about like, it was something about sex, and it was just made sex a chore. Like, and it's another thing that I've seen going around where it's like the dude's on his phone with his girl, she drops the phone, he got to drop his phone so she can just. And I'm like, hey, every day y'all make these posts. Every single day, I'm watching y'all. I see some of y'all. Every day y'all make these posts, and every day it's like, can't wait to be in a relationship, can't wait to be in love, can't wait to be married. On the married and loving platforms, the standard is life gonna kick me in my ass. Then I get to go home and get my ass kicked again. I don't get to play my game. I got to get off it to give her attention. I don't get my dick sucked as much. Niggas is asking for surface level things. Then you go to the therapy pages. Men are talking about the first time I cried, the first time I opened myself up was in therapy. Then you got therapists saying, well, if you knew how to talk and express yourself better. Hey man, where am I supposed to? Where's the connectivity here, man? Because what am I looking forward to? What's my incentive? Not to even make it like
death is your incentive.
Yeah, I'm like, not to make it so transactional, but yeah, I know what's that stupid phrase that everybody been bringing to the table. I know what you bring to the table is the worst shit, but I'm like, hey, there's a truth in that. Because it's like,
bring nothing to the table because we eat on trays in front of the TV like a regular family here since the 1980s. I don't have time for this. Get your tray and sit down. Or if you're really about it, like we had to cook out, put that bitch in your lap and let's sit here and watch this show and enjoy this meal like a regular family. Talking about the table. That's extra money that we have to spend on something we're not going to utilize.
Man, it's just, hey, like I'm cool. Like I'm very cool with. All I just need you to do is not bring me most stuff. I just don't like how these standards is just like, she brings you got the world on your back, and then she brings you more stuff, and that is what it means to be good. And it's like, hey, you feel like, and even when he says like you feel bad about, you know, choosing your happiness, and I was like, only as a dude do you feel bad about that though, because it's championed everywhere else. But it's like, if you go look, I'm not happy because there's no facet of this relationship where it is about, I don't know, man, about me. The whole thing is set up for me to do for you. And then, you know, you get some coochie and it's cool.
You know what I was thinking about the whole Gary Owen situation? And I kind of shared it with you. Like it's interesting that the type of guy that some women will say, I'm tired of niggas. So they leave us for and go deal with said white dudes. And even the white dudes is tired of you. And still we find a way. The person that you left us for is tired of you, but you still found a way to say that he was the problem. No matter what happens in this situation, at what point in time do we like peel the layers back and say, you got to hold some accountability in this as well? Like, yes, stereotypically, women are the ones that may file for divorce. And stereotypically, it may be something that has to do with finances. That's 50%. 50% of the time, women are filing for divorce. I think 60% of the time, women are filing for divorce. And it's because of finances, roughly 50% of the time. But we always look at those numbers and assume that she's the one that's miserable because of that. She just filed first. Not everybody's going to be like Gary and say, you know what? I'm tired. I'm just going to sabotage all this because he sabotaged it. He cheated. You know, well, you can say it's cheating. On paper, he cheated because legally we're still married, but we're separated. So I'm not really cheating. But on paper, he cheated and sabotaged this because I'm just done. But there's a lot of dudes that are still breaking their back for a thankless situation. And she's the one that files first, which makes it look like she's the one that's really unhappy when I've been unhappy trying to make this work, even though I probably shouldn't. But we're going to look at me as if I'm the problem here.
So how do you go about changing the idea that like you're supposed to endure your partner? Like I'm not some, you know, making some statement that you're supposed to just be like, it's supposed to be happy roses. I don't believe that. Your partner is somebody who.
How do I change that?
Okay, well maybe.
I'm about to say we can.
How would, because it seems like, because I'm low key not even necessarily speaking for myself at this point. I'm a little like I choose, but I see this narrative a bunch about like, you know, the idea is you just need to.
I just caught the undertone.
Yeah,
I'm a little life I choose.
I'm a little life I choose.
I don't know what
but
the
like
rest
you
of
just the idea is just to endure somebody, and that's what makes you a good dude. And I'm like, I don't understand that. Like, why is it? And also, if we're talking about a loving space, because I on the flip side, I don't want my partner to endure me.
Absolutely,
I want her to be happy and happy to be here. This is dope. This is amazing, motherfucker. I'm with. And the issues that you go through should be like growing pains. But you know the difference between, all right, man, we trying to figure out how to make this mesh, and that's the problem, as opposed to that's some crazy shit. And I don't want to have to deal with that crazy shit. But what's that shit? Like niggas always talk about like, well, if it ain't her, man, it'll be another one. Don't nobody find this to be a problem. Don't nobody find this to be like.
I thankfully am not having these problems, so it won't be another one, and I can attest to that. But that's another conversation. But I think when I think of enduring something, when you endure something, that's something that is in your space, and you don't have a choice to remove it just yet. In my mind, like you have to endure pain. Let's say growing pains. I'm growing, I'm changing, I'm elevating, I'm transforming, I'm whatever you want to call it. This comes with the territory until I am finished. I can't get rid of the pain. It is what it is until this process is over. I don't want to have to feel like I'm dealing with somebody and I don't have a choice to. That's not a good way for me to describe my partner. You're here and I can't do anything about it. And I just have to deal until it's over. Why would I want to feel that way about my partner? Why would I want my partner to feel that way about me?
If that's the case, if you start, then just leave.
Okay.
Then just leave. I guess like obviously that's
like the nine. To me, that's denying the inevitable.
That's
because
clearly
I
the
joke
answer.
about marriage a lot. Like, not to say, and we've talked about this on the show. Not that I have an issue with marriage. I have an issue with how we approach marriage as a society, especially in this country, because clearly we're doing it wrong. But I don't have an issue with marriage. But statistically, over 50% of us are doing this wrong. We don't know what we're doing when it comes to marriage. And then we try to do it again. And then it's what, 60% for second marriages that fail? It doesn't get better as you go along. You may be lucky if you get to 4, and then that's your soulmate, right? That's the 4th marriage is my soulmate, or the 3rd marriage is my soulmate. But we're doing this thing wrong, in my opinion. So at what point in time do we stop and like, how does this person feel about me? How do you feel about what is this working for you? Is this not working? Because if this ain't working for you, like, what should we can we call it off? Can we separate amicably? Because 50% of the time it's most likely gonna happen anyway. So why Why are we going to beat ourselves in the head about it? Not to say that you should quit easily, not to say that you shouldn't try, but you should be open to having conversations of reevaluating your relationship and saying, hey, what do? We need a break? Should we do this? Like, problem solve.
I think that's it. But I think there's also a bit of like when people do, marriage one, marriage two, I feel like there's this idea that you jump into the next thing trying to find somebody to conform to how you think it's supposed to go. As opposed to going, hey man, this is time to. Am I approaching this stupidly? Is my idea of how this is supposed to go completely ass backwards? Like,
I wouldn't even say, am I approaching this stupidly? I would say, how am I? Because clearly you are. If you keep seeing the same shit over and over again, at some point you should be able to say, it's me. It's me. And I need to figure out why it's me and how it's me. And let me change some things about me so that I can change this environment that I'm in. That would make sense to me.
It ain't never me, man. You got to cut on some of that Future, telling me things ain't shit, or you got to cut on some of that.
You gonna cut on Future on the way home from your job while you get something to eat in the car because you don't want to share with her. And you're gonna be miserable on the way home. You still gonna go back to that same environment. And you're gonna live in this fantasy in your mind because you don't know how to communicate. And that is gender fluid for men and women. Y'all be miserable in silence and you be raging, mad at situations. And then when you get home where it's a place you can actually fix it, your mouth be closed and y'all don't know how to communicate effectively to be solution oriented for once.
Unfortunately, a lot of people are living with a partner because they can't afford to live alone. Enduring that partner because they don't have a real choice.
That is not an excuse, in my opinion, because a lot of people before they got into a relationship, you struggled by yourself beforehand.
Yeah, like I'm gonna take that studio as opposed to this 2-bedroom. Like that's
especially say after I mean, depending on how it is, because I do get, especially for men. That's a whole nother part of the conversation that we can dive into after this next break. But I understand for men, we may fear a lot of the risk that comes with that, which can put us way back further than we were when we started.
Like a Gary. Commercial.
Is this divorce music?
Yeah. Yep. I'm out of here. Track 12. Commercial.
What's up? It's Brandon from the Primos Chilos radio show. Are you tired of filthy, lowbrow, scummy entertainment? Well, I don't have the solution for you. Check out the Primos Chilos radio show, live Thursdays at 12 on TGN Latinx.
Are you single and ready to mingle? Well, you may not be, but now here's your chance to purchase an all-new 30-day journal, Single and Not Quite Ready to Mingle. A 30-day journal to make the most of your single season. It's by me, Chanel, co-host of Brunch with Besties show. You can purchase your journal right now on Amazon by typing in Single and Not Quite Ready to Mingle. Now is the time to do the work. I'm rooting for you. Go ahead and purchase your journal now. Single and Not Quite Ready to Mingle, a 30-day journal to make the most of your single season. Are you ready?
What's up, friends? It's Iron Friends. We're here at the Podcast Pit LA. It was so fun. We came to rep the IE. I think we did a pretty good job. So shout out to the Podcast Pit for having us. Shout out to TGN. You guys should definitely check them out. You should check me out, Saul V. Gomez.
Y'all can find me at I Know Caesar on IG. You can find me at airbear_IE on IG.
And you guys can find the podcast at Iron Friends on every social media network except for OnlyFans. That's coming soon. So stay tuned. So follow us and follow TGN Podcast Pit. Have a good day, guys.
Hey, Jackie, what's wrong?
I'm over here running around trying to tell everybody about the Podcast Pit.
What's the Podcast Pit?
I'm glad you asked. The Podcast Pit is an event where you will find some of your favorite podcasts performing in front of a live audience.
Will there be food and drinks there?
Of course there will be. It's at Joxer Dailies in Culver City. They have a full bar and a full menu.
Hey, I may need to tell people about this as well.
Yes, come with me. Let's tell them. The Podcast Pit is coming.
The Podcast Pit is coming.
Hey, Michael, that's a dope ass shirt. What is that?
You know what it is. I only rock the Flyers gear, and the Flyers gear can be found with TGN Radio.
Where did you get it?
TGNradio.net. Go onto the page, click TGN Shop Store, and you can get everything you need.
I'm getting mine right now. And make sure y'all do the same. Go get your TGN merch. Enjoy your show.
Do you want to punch people in the face and not get fired for it? Tune in Monday night for Monday Night Compton Mania, only on the TGN Network. We'll see.
Only on TGN Sports.
Are you looking for the best barbershop experience? Then the Locker Room Barbershop is the place for you. Check them out at their new location, located at 16900 Lakewood Boulevard, Unit 204 in Bellflower, California. If you would like to book an appointment, you can check them out at thelockerroom05.com or on Instagram at The Locker Room Barbershop LLC. Feel free to call the number 560.
Well, this sounds very fucking like pew pew pew.
Oh, I was gonna say a little Skinamax-ish.
Right?
Not that I'm upset about it, because this is definitely my groove for the day. Hey, why you change it, man?
I was looking for see if I can get some. Oh, they can't.
Okay,
see
that's a
us.
little different. Yeah, I guess we can't have
It sounded
swirl my nipples, pinch my nipples music going.
Oh, somebody's
Talk
already
about
on this?
divorce.
Oh, somebody's already on this. Look at this. Oh yeah, I can't see us.
No, they can't. They can hear us.
Oh, we're figuring life out.
It's okay. They can hear the dysfunction without seeing it. That's why they tune in every week.
Proud of y'all.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you. You love dysfunction just like us. What did our comments say before we proceed?
Being solution oriented would change the game, but it seems that most folks prefer only looking at the problem.
Most people feel I would rebuttal that just a little bit. I agree, but I would say most people feel like projecting the problem onto somebody else. Because if you look at the problem, that means you're gonna have to look at yourself. They don't want to look at themselves. So we'd rather project the problem onto someone else so that we can deflect from having some accountability in the situation. It was like, which makes divorce crazy for me. Because unless somebody was like outright a dirtbag in the marriage, why are we not just splitting everything and calling it a day? Like, why do we have to go through? There should be a different situation when it comes to divorce, as opposed to like us playing tug of war to see who can leverage who.
I think
Like
that's
we just everything split down the middle automatically. You came in here like who y'all splitting up because of what? Let's talk about it. Plead your case. Okay, cool. Either it's gonna be split down the middle, or if you did some complete dirt baggery, then we can award some other stuff. But no, depending on the situation, no alimony, none of that. Y'all just split everything down the middle and get the fuck out my court.
I mean, I think that's how people would like it to be. I think that marriage divorce a lot of times becomes this mudslinging contest because everybody likes to pretend like, they didn't know what was coming down the pike. And I think that kind of sometimes speaks to how a lot of marriages are not built on, it's not a love thing. It's this person
contract.
Yeah, this person was an investment. So there's no way I'm going to let this thing leave off without me getting compensated, which is kind of why like I feel like not like trying to prepare for divorce, but I just feel like if you both, and I feel like that's where some of that traditional shit fucks over a lot of parties, because if you come in here and you're not equally contributing however you want to make that work for you, then it does look like holy shit, I need to bleed this shit because I've set that's my standard of living. Why would you set a standard? I'm not setting no standard that I can't maintain myself.
Right.
I don't understand that yet. I don't know what part of life where you determine that I can do triple double things as long as I have this person. I'm always thinking, can I maintain this by myself? If not, then I shouldn't do it. So I feel like a lot of that is not even like it's about me. It's about the kid. It's about, no, man, it's about you kind of trying to come up on both sides. Cause shit, if I had a homegirl, if I'm, talking to a Meg or whatever, there's no way that I'm like sitting with her without going, help me start something and then I'm going to get you back. That way I'm not completely dependent on her traveling to Japan. I look like a dickhead.
But to your point, the trickiness with some of that is like for the stereotypical norm, that's the goal, right? The goal of the relationship is for one person to be in a position to take care of all of these things, at least financially, to provide, which puts you at a disadvantage. So of course you have to leverage it when it goes awry because you're starting over.
And that sets a power dynamic. Like everybody, I think we're all can be, honest that nobody's emotionally mature enough to deal with these power dynamics. So to me, you set the board equally. It's not me trying to ask you for $1 billion, but what that is to me is like, and somebody said, I want to say it was like Chico Bean and like Carlos Miller's like, if we both got it in our respective whatevers, then the only thing we're dealing with in this relationship is the stuff that matters.
Right.
I don't have a situation like what Felix was talking about. If we both work at Chick-fil-A, then we both live a Chick-fil-A working life and we work from there. That way I know that you getting paid $15.50 and I'm getting paid $15.50. We live a $15.50 life. So now all I have to worry about is if you're a decent person. But if the dynamic is all super shifted, you're gonna have to eat shit because this is a lifestyle I've never lived before. You know, if I'm dating a millionaire chick and I can't figure out how to work my life, then yeah, I have to deal with her doing whatever she wants because what you finna do, nigga? Like go back to.
But that means we would have to pay attention to what us good Christian folks say we paying attention to and having an equally yoked relationship. Because I mean, even for me, I think it could be an incentive to keep the relationship together. If I got Chick-fil-A status and you got Chick-fil-A status, and we come together, and now we can graduate to Applebee's.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is an incentive for us to make sure that we make this thing work. Because I know where I came from, I know where you came from, and we have this better together. So what the fuck are we fighting for? Let's figure this shit out. Because you want to go back to Chick-fil-A? No, I want to go back to Chick-fil-A. You like this Applebee's and Olive Garden lifestyle, right? Yeah, I like that shit too. So how can we make this work?
And that to me is still
that's equally yoked though. If it's a staggered dynamic where things are not even, then of course you're gonna either want to fight to keep it together or you're gonna fight to take away as much as you can if you gotta be on the outs.
Well, see now that's now you fighting people's interpretation of what God said, because God said equally yoked, but then there was that whole thing about you the rib, and everybody uses that to whatever advantage they use for themselves because you're above me, which means that you need to take care of everything. I'm like, but also that means they're above you and they got power or whatever you say. You're a second-class citizen. Where if y'all were like a partnership, which just makes sense for all parties involved, and you were, I don't know, man, it's a stupid concept where if you're with somebody and they also your person, like y'all just be saying that shit and it sounds, I'm looking for my person. And I think the romance stuff is cool, but also, it's really like intimate and beautiful seeing two people, and I'm always bump up the geek. When I see two people at Comic-Con and they got matching characters, or y'all both are yelling for the Lakers, or y'all both are, I don't know, man, y'all both into putting motorcycles together, whatever it is, man. Like I know the opposites attract thing is important, but I really feel like that's a misunderstood concept. Like opposites attract in the sense that you are a more patient person. I'm learning how to be patient to you. But like on our day-to-day activities, like we have to have some type of cohesiveness. You like, this is my like, and that's why I don't like all that overtly romantic stuff, because y'all only base the relationship off of these moments. And it's like the day-to-day stuff is not
performative.
Yeah, it's not rose petals, it's not coochie scented bath bombs or whatever y'all doing. It's just I like hanging out with this person. So if y'all don't like hanging out, which is built on that equally yoked crap, then like what are you talking about? Like what are y'all talking about?
Nonsense.
I just
You're talking about keeping up the aesthetic, which somebody mentioned in the comments earlier. That's what we compare ourselves to. We compare ourselves to how we match up with the aesthetic, not love.
Living within your means is not the American way.
Absolutely not.
I hate America, but your whole standpoint on how you do relationships and everything else is American influence. You know what you're talking? You talking this talk. You're making
tons of sense. I've had that has so
That's
even like saying
granddaddy
for us, it's certain things like that may have kept me from shooting les shot at certain people. Like I may see that I have an end, but I can see that you live a certain lifestyle and have a certain mindset that I don't agree with.
For sure.
And although we can have a good rapport, we can hang out, we can spend time together, we can find each other attractive, but there's things that are on the same level that you're talking as far as like the everyday mindset. We don't mesh in those areas. We mesh in all these areas, but the baseline of what we're going to build on is slightly
that's what
impacted. So it's like, I don't know if I want to go that route just because it doesn't match up the way that it needs to. People don't think that there's other people out there that look at these factors, but they do. People definitely don't think that men do it. They think that we're just Neanderthals with penises.
That's a critique I don't like.
Yeah.
I don't like the critique that niggas don't jump into relationships, because I've had to look at that transition for myself. It's like there was a time where it was like, yeah, like we were joking right now about the early 2000s. It was like, yeah, you go out, you get the booty ass. It was just all lust all the time, all party, we all drink, it's fun. But then once you start dealing with people, it's like I'm not into this for the sake of not into a relationship. Can't even button my shirt to the top without getting nervous. That's really not the motivation. The motivation is, and I don't think this is looked at enough, because then you'd have to deal with the realization that, like, one, niggas are not opposed to relationships. Two, y'all are a flawed group. Is that when I look at like men to women talks, it's like men don't jump relationships because we just are rambunctious hoes. It's like, no, man, I'm not jumping into it because
of 52%, and I normally lose if I'm on that 52%. Cautiousness, fear, worry, anxiety, anxiousness. If this doesn't go a certain way, I'm getting the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, and
so
I think
I need to take my time and be more cautious about this.
I think about that outside of like that's simply thinking the divorce route. But it's like when I come home, when I'm hanging out with you, when we're talking, this like these minor things are the things that form a relationship. That's what puts it together. It's not the big birthday bashes; those are dope, but those are a representation of all these other things that you've done. And if you can't do all that together, this is not going to save you. Like the marriage is not going to save you. Going to hang out for your mom and dad's anniversary is not like all these other things are what build that. So if it's like, how I can't believe that you and I don't know, and it's vice versa, man. If bro is not understanding why you and I don't know, man, Ashley have these intricate conversations, or he can't like understand what that's going through, then it's like y'all can't communicate.
Right.
How can you sit up there and talk to them on that game for whatever? Like, did you listen to what we were saying? He told me about his kids and shit like that. And that's another thing. If I'm noticing you have all these weird traits, I don't want to have kids with you, not because I don't want to have kids. I don't want to have to spend the next 20 some odd years combating what you told them in the home by going, okay, that was cool, but do it this way. Like where she's getting to is this, but all of that don't do.
Right.
We have to, I got to spend my time.
It's a constant battle of making sure that you are molding these human beings in a way that's beneficial to them. But that comes from the conflict of foundation. I mean, people may think I'm crazy bringing up this analogy sometimes, and I've had this conversation, but that's why I would never seriously date a woman that wears wigs. I like natural hair, so it wouldn't make sense for me no matter how much we vibe. You're spending money on something I don't agree with, that I don't like. You're going to show my kid or my daughter that it's okay to wear the fake lashes, fake nails, or fake hair. Like, that's not something I want to pass on to my child. I want them to be confident in how they look naturally. So as much as I may vibe with you, that's still not something that I want to deal with long term. Now, that may seem small and trivial, but that is something that you would have to dismantle long term. She wants to go to prom and all these other things, and she's going to want to look the same way that her mama has raised her to look for the last 18 years that I have disagreed with. But this is my child. And at some point, when you leave this house, I need you to be confident in yourself. But your confidence in yourself is based on mom's confidence in herself, which is based in the wigs and weaves, the lashes, and all this other stuff that I've been combating for 18 years. If I had just stopped and took a small second and said, she's attractive, we get along, but this stuff, I'll pass on that. You could bypass that whole situation where I have to decondition my child at some point because I didn't know how to tell myself, no, I don't need to holler at her, or no, I don't need to push that button.
That's a good point. Like I don't even have much to add to that as far as like looking at that aspect and having that as being, and that's the thing that I feel like is messed up at dating. Because if you brought that up in a conversation, especially with somebody you're getting serious with about what these things teach children, what these conditions, especially when of all these conversations about a man's mindset and patriarchy, it's like, cool, I'm not trying to tell you how to live or how to dress or whatever, but this is an aspect of what comes with that. Or when I think about like having a sister, having a mom, dealing with women, like when you listen to like I'm a PlayStation right now, $900, right? One buy, boom. I'll give it $1,000. One buy, $1,000. And I'm gonna play with this fucking piece of equipment for the next decade, if not, it does it by itself. Downloads, whatever.
I'll give it 5. Yeah, maybe 5 to 10, maybe. Yeah,
I'll take all of that. A weave process altogether, from the purchase, from the hair grade, from the installation, that's like a $1,200 process every time.
Same as my game, and you're going to want 6 different ones.
So it's like to do that, and then I have to do. I don't care how much money I'm making. That's got to be like. And I saw this other meme that did the breakdown. It's like I don't care if I'm making $500 an hour. It's like I just gave you an hour, and that I don't like. You better have money. I gave you an hour of my life for you to put this stupid looking thing on your head. So y'all can have finger waves coming out right above your eyebrows that look like big Victorian curtains. That don't even make no sense to me. But I'm like getting off the point about like for things like that that have some validity to it. Do you might have to not come as hard or split the difference? I'm cool with all that, but sometimes you turn into a Gary because he's like, I was just miserable, and there are things probably like that he wanted to say that are like, and I'm it projecting because I don't know
the context.
I don't know, but it's like when you hear niggas talk like in private conversations, it's like a bunch of little things, and it's like, why didn't you say nothing? Because you run the risk of one, getting like her blowing up on you and now you're a piece of shit, or two, somehow you've hurt her feelings and the whole thing is flipped, and it's never looked at as like, you gotta own your shit. Like, I'm hurt when my friends or my mom or my dad or my loved ones tell me I've messed up, but at a certain point you have to go, I am like OD right now. That's like a part standard of like what makes you like a good dude. He stands on his word, whatever the hell. Watch your old westerns, watch your warrior films. So on the flip side,
people like that when it's in their favor.
yeah, and that's what I don't respect, because that concept has to carry across the board.
Right.
If you like it for real. Like, you love football, I love the smacks, and you have to understand that you might blow your knee out. Deal with that. Get up. I enjoyed this game to the extent I loved it, good and bad. That's what the actual statement of love, is how y'all be defining it, like good, bad, good, or whatever. And y'all just mean you want somebody to take 10 pounds of your shit, and that's wrong.
I mean, I can even transition even past the divorce, the breakup, the whatever. There's a lot. I would go out on a limb and say there's a lot of dudes that are on child support where at one point in time, the baby mom said that he was a good dad, but he stood in opposition of you for one or two things. And you said, you know what? Let me leverage this in my favor because I'm tired of your perspective of this. And now you continue to suffer. I broke up with you because I was suffering. Now I'm not with you anymore. And now I still have to suffer because there's something that can be leveraged against me here. And that's not to say that it's just men, because I'm sure women go through the same shit. But
I'm gonna jump out on a whole limb. I don't care if we was into it for 37 things. We're into it. If you register this person is a good parent,
let it be that.
Then you let them be a good parent and you do the co-parenting thing. I don't care what you do on your own time that doesn't. And I'm a product of divorced parents, and I'm a product of people who's like, you're gonna go see dog. What we're into is not what you're into.
Right.
Y'all go figure out your own whatever. So that whole thing, I don't be respecting that. And I've just known women in our age bracket who have not moved that way, and they deserve all the kudos in the world, because your personal issues with somebody, if it doesn't reflect on them as a parent, that's something different. Right. Now, I'm not giving y'all niggas out, because some of y'all niggas are not good parents.
Absolutely.
Like, you showing up, I came to pick up my son. I'll be back next week. They should break you to the lowest terms. You should, every time you open your check, it should be 80.
Those are the type of dads where I'll be like, put him on child support immediately.
Yeah, today I'll help you file. Now for them, I help you file. I would help you file.
Take you to court.
Yeah, we could do that.
But there's some, like, I have some friends that like they on child support, and it's like, wait a minute, how are you on child? You've never not provided for your child. You was buying every little whatever, every pair of Jordans they wanted for school. You was taking them back to school shopping every year, 2 times a year. Like, you was doing the job that you were supposed to be doing for a long period of time. How'd you end up on child support? Because she don't like the fact of this, and this. She didn't like the fact that you talked about this. Yeah. I didn't like the dudes that she was bringing around my daughter, and I spoke up about it, and then we end up arguing, and next thing I know, I'm on child support. It's like, oh, so she's bringing questionable people around, and because you're trying to continue to be a good father, now you're on child support because she just wants to silence you, which is not okay. I don't like that. So there are people moving like that. I haven't had to encounter them myself. Granted, I ain't got no kids, so wonderful in that area, but I do get to see both sides of the coin, which sucks because it all boils down to miscommunication and people not being able to, I wish I could go back in time. She had a Carl's Jr. burger and I wanted a piece of it. It was the worst fucking day of my life. Like, I wish I had made a different decision in that moment.
But see, those moments, I'm okay with those moments, because those aren't the moments where you need to dip. She looked good, you went and shot your shot, cool. But there was moments in there where I feel like there needs to be a level of honesty sometimes on, I think, our part. It doesn't need to be cruel, but it needs you to be honest with yourself and honest with her about, like, y'all are talking, you're on the date, and she said, I don't know, man, I think such and such an artist is whatever. And you're like, like the same, I think how sometimes we talk about women being overly critical. I think we're under critical, and you got to kind of meet it in the balance, because y'all are talking about politics or about a show or about whatever. I don't understand this, or I think this is whoop whoop whoop. Nigga, you knew in your mind when she said that, you'd be like, what you mean? Like you thought that, and your next thought was not even outside the booty ass. I know that we like throw that out there as like thing, but you thought, I don't want to hurt her feelings. I like her, and blah 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 blah. And what you really should have done was like, hey man, this is her feelings. Yes, you put yours on the back burner because you don't want to be mean, you don't want to be a dickhead, you don't want to be with all these things that are pushed into you, and it's like
I'm about to say, where does that mindset come from? The fact that I'm speaking my mind, I'm sharing my perspective, and I may be assertive with a certain stance that I am, confident in. But that's wrong. It's wrong of me to do that, and that's detrimental to her, or that's mean to her, or that's disrespectful to her. For me to share my perspective,
for
me to disagree.
Like I've gotten called mean. If we're like,
I always got called
what's
mean
what's your opinion on this? Well, I think is damn, that was harsh. Hey, we was just chilling, and this was, look at this big fat, I can't believe. Can you see what she wearing? Relax, dog. Because I feel like mine was just like a critique on a thing. You really talk about this person. What you mean? Because what's mean?
You'd have took them 10-inch long fingernails and poked me in the middle of my head for the last hour. And as soon as I grab your wrist, you say, why are you so rough?
I've never
Be gentle. What are you talking about?
I've never really been a fan of that play fight shit. And that's off the backs of my mother. My mom is like, hey, look, man, I just want you to cut that out. Don't do that.
Because you don't know how it's going to turn for you.
Yeah, it's like, now your eyes are still eyes. Like she gave me the speech. I was like, yeah. And she's like, now if somebody busts you in the eye, what is your next reaction? I was like, 2 exactly. And I feel like, she didn't be a solid because she was just like, I'm going to save you from something because you're not finna be able to explain that to them without sounding crazy. Just don't do it at all. Because to be able to explain, if you hit me in my eye, bro, I'm going to get mad and I'm going to want to swing. You can't be hitting on. And she was like, don't do none of that because just the explanation is not going to hit. Nobody's going to understand that context. And I was like, thanks, Mom.
Cassandra Elaine said something similar, but she also said, now the other side of that coin is, you're going to jump up in a man's face and you're going to buck at a man like you a man, you better be ready to take some fisticuffs like you a man as well. Now that's coming from me mammy.
Yeah, my mom told me that too. I just always jump out the way because I don't trust y'all. So as soon as I hear anything more chaotic than I'm like, yeah, we can go ahead. I'm out. Like I'm out. I don't like, and I might not be out of your life, but I'm going to leave the situation because I'm not doing all that. None of that. That's just to me dangerous. My immediate thought is like, there are people in sound of this. I'm gonna go to jail, and I would rather go to jail for I
would rather not.
Never.
Right.
But you just can't go in there for something like that. You can go in for being, the world's craziest gang member, a world-class assassin, whatever.
Nah.
But that, nah. So
LA walls are thin. Somebody gonna hear something. So now I'm cool. I don't even want to raise my voice.
See, now I appreciate this part. Maya Angelou once said it once, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time.
And I do.
I see that post a lot, but I don't ever see us posted enough. And I never see it posted about everybody's other.
It's never posted in favor of us.
No, man, that post that everybody posted like it is exclusively meant for one demographic.
For the Negroes.
And I'm just like, man, like that shit is across the board.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of men that done that because I've done that myself. And as soon as I get you smell that? I catch a whiff of a red flag.
That's what I just
I don't have to tell you this is what I'm doing, but you don't recognize that I have kept you at a distance because there's something that lets me know the closer that you get to me, it's going to be a problem for me. And I want no parts.
That quote, I feel like shit is a bit, I don't want to say more so, but it is more for us than we give it credit because that's the nigga experience. Like, except we just never ever
we don't verbalize it.
Yeah, she showed us who she was, and we was dumb enough to still keep going. 1, for just stupidity. 2, a lot of niggas are still jumping for the booty ass. And 3, you let that good girl go. What made her good? Like, what made her good?
Because you know her. You have an affinity for her because you have a closeness to her. That's your kin. So you think that she good, just like you thought Ray Ray ass was good too. But now he in jail for 25.
I don't care that she passed the bar. She's a bad person and a great lawyer. That's not the same thing.
Absolutely. She-Hulk is a great lawyer, but she'll tear up a goddamn courtroom too at the same time. I don't think I want to deal with that.
My mama definitely taught us not to fight with men unless you're ready for that man to fight back. I'll play wrestle, but that's in pretty specific situations. You're nasty, and I appreciate you. Yeah, we're gonna light this up. But in the words of the late great Teddy Ray, that's black trauma, my nigga. You know, hey, you're not wrong.
Somebody said that they late.
Oh, they are late. She is late.
Is that late?
Yeah.
Look like it.
Whoa. Y'all moving now.
I figured as much.
She's a good girl is code for she is not a hoe. And I don't
that actually we need to talk about a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it is. Because that's to me, that's like old school medieval patriarchy. Like somebody's trying to sell you on her so you can take her off the family's hands.
she has not been
soiled.
And it's like she's a bad person though, bro. Like she
showed me who she was and she was busting it open, and I don't really, that ain't my groove.
And then here's the thing, you get a really mean person that won't let you put your finger in their booty. Like, what's the point of this?
Absolutely.
What was the point of me like you going, she's not into whatever? I'm like, so you can't
I don't really like, all right.
Yeah, yo, it's like now I can't even get my dick sucked like I want to. And you're mean. Like
you're insufferable. And I can't get none of that either.
Yeah, like, why do you watch this boy with the flaming sword? I'm like, man, he's having a deep transitional moment with his sister. She's a demon, but like you don't think this is interesting? You don't watch
it's a wonderful bond.
We can't watch House of the Dragon. You don't none of this is cool to you?
None of it.
Oh man, get out.
And I can't none of that.
Yeah, you're not doing none of that.
Even here.
That's crazy.
They wanna go home.
And I'm gonna go too. Like I'm gonna go straight to the house because that's nuts. I just
no, it's not nuts. That's why you dry. That's why you damn near abstinent.
I mean, see, they look at her. I didn't even say the name. I didn't even say the name. What is we talking about? Like what is we talking about? I don't know, man. Y'all got 20-something seconds, but like that, what is we talking about?
Obviously not.
If it's not for me, look, man, I ain't with all that. Like, granted, ma'am, you should, don't change, your core values, but go watch some stuff that he like. You see all these niggas posting all this cool stuff and think you don't need to know. Man, get out of here. It's fun too. It ain't even just for him. Y'all on the app gotta go. That was quick. Y'all on YouTube can enjoy.
I can sit here and kick back a little bit longer.
Yeah. All right, bye. I don't have no real exit. Y'all get these vibes.
I was gonna let him talk a little bit more while you. This is the song, this type of music that gets you in these problems in the first place.
I mean,
not I.
I'm just saying, don't give me the problems because even this is sometimes you be like, you don't like this? Like, I'm not saying like you have to like it, but it's like you don't like this. Who is this? It ain't.
What do you watch?
Get out.
I watch this. Absolutely not. Red flag. Time to go. That's good. This is gonna be a short evening for us.
What you mean? Like, this will do nothing for you? It's just cool. I just ain't never. What are you doing? I'm gonna get this lotion because you got to go home. Give me that coconut oil.
I don't even want to do that. I'd rather just go to the gym, keep the testosterone levels up high.
I could do both. Y'all have a good night.
Multifaceted.
Yep.